I was going to avoid this altogether. I find it very annoying that I have to talk about this guy, and that's Soulja Boy, the rapper who I remember back when his stuff was very popular because my students were all doing the Superman dance, and I found it irritating then, and I find him irritating now. If you haven't been following what's been going on with this guy, um, he he decided to start selling a console. This console was basically something like this. I'm holding up my NES Classic. It was kind of like an NES Classic, um, except that it had a bunch of pirated games on it. Now, he was very brazenly bragging about how much money he was making selling this thing, and that Nintendo wouldn't do anything to him, and that nobody understood the business. Everybody was telling him that he couldn't do this, and he kept saying, like, he would say homophobic nonsense in his tweets, which have since been deleted. Um, but now it seems like he has decided not to sell his little console that had a bunch of old ROMs from the NES and Super Nintendo and Game Boy platforms. He was selling all this stuff that he didn't have permission to do that. He didn't have permission to sell those things. And at one point he was like, Nintendo won't do anything about this. And now all the consoles have been removed from his website. And on Twitter, he said, "I had to boss up. I didn't have a choice." I don't really know what that means. I don't speak cool. So, you guys will have to interpret that for yourselves. But my guess is he got hit with a cease and desist order from Nintendo, and his lawyers said, "Don't be stupid. Let's just fold and hope that they don't sue us for the money that you've already made," because he was bragging on Twitter about that he had already made $5 million selling these things illegally. It's illegal, and Nintendo is one of the most litigious companies on the planet, I think. And of course, they are going to go after anybody that infringes on their intellectual property. And for a guy to act the way that he was and not expect Nintendo to come after him, that's just bananas to me. Now, part of me thinks that he was just slapping his name on something and probably had other people working for him that were making the decisions here. I don't know. But I can't imagine that anybody would go out there and understanding that you can't just steal stuff and sell it and then brag about it. That's just crazy to me. So he seems to have come to his senses, or at least his lawyers got in there and talked him down. But you no longer can buy the Soulja Boy consoles, and this seems to be a surprise to absolutely no one except maybe Soulja Boy. Hopefully, I never have to say that name again.